So you can send in your questions to askpvquestions@gmail.com. I have an interesting one for me to talk about here. Someone sent in saying, what are your thoughts on Ben Shapiro's real-time appearance? So I have seen the Ben Shapiro real-time appearance. He was on Bill Maher's show. Now, I did talk about one thing from it because it was a an article on the Hill that came to me that I saw, and it was about how Ben Shapiro agreed with Bill Maher, stating that if indeed the Trump administration or Trump himself or whoever is to shut down the Mueller investigation, impeachment should be on the table because we should impeach Donald Trump because he's obstructing justice. Number one, he's obstructing justice. But number two, whenever there's smoke, there's usually fire, so there's probably something there. So what you're talking about there is something interesting, but really, I've seen it. It really wasn't interesting to me for a few reasons. One of them being, probably the main reason being, they didn't really talk about like policy issues, right? It was more about, oh, the Tea Party believed in this and, what happened. It's more about party platforms changing, how parties are, how they're doing, and more about political strategy than really anything policy, driven or talking about policy. So it wasn't very interesting. But generally speaking, when you're talking about, these TV show appearances that these political pundits do, whether it be Ben Shapiro or whoever else, you're not really going to get into the meat of anything anyways, just because it's, so short. But his appearance on Bill Maher, I mean, I really honestly thought it was quite boring. They didn't really get into the meat of anything. It was sort of Bill Maher, and the thing is Bill Maher's audience also is obviously Bill Maher fans, right? And Bill Maher is what I would call an expert in getting applause from his audience. And, as a lefty, I mean, I'll definitely admit that. And he knows how to get claps from his audience, right? He's been doing that for years. There's video of Christopher Hitchens actually flipping off the audience saying, fuck you, because they'd be having a conversation, and then Bill Maher will toss in a joke about George Bush, and then Christopher Hitchens will be like, oh, fuck the audience, because they were laughing at it. But I was hoping for more when I was seeing it, but it really didn't interest me, and I don't know if he was on the entire show, or was he, because I actually just saw the interview that they did, like the close-up one, the one-on-one that they did. That was all that I personally saw. But I really wasn't impressed. It wasn't entertaining. It really wasn't very interesting either. And I think that if he's going to do that again, maybe they should talk about policy and actually sort of talk about things that aren't just, oh, how can you support Trump now with this? And they were sort of talking about Trump. I guess it was okay to do that this time, but next time, that if this happens again, I hope that they actually have a conversation about policy and positions.